Hey everyone, it's me Kathryn, and today I'm here to talk about The Guest Cat by Takashi Hiraide. Coming back to this 6 years later, because apparently this is just this is just where I am in life right now. I was possessed to reread it the other day, and I have my original thoughts, what I originally wrote, because I did originally plan to do a video when I very first read this, but for whatever reason never got around to filming it or anything. And looking at it now, I'm glad I didn't, because what I wrote then and what I think now, while similar, not the same. I said a lot more good things about it last time. But this is really short. It's like 140 pages of, I want to say nothing. There's not really anything. But for a book that is not much, it's very wordy, which sounds stupid because it's a book. Of course it's fucking wordy. But Takashi Hiraide, I believe, yeah, he has published several volumes of poetry, so he's a poet, right? And you can tell. You can definitely tell. And I'm not sure, I don't really mesh with it. I didn't really mesh with the writing, to be honest, and the content itself, the actual contents of the book, the actual thing the book is about, it's not exactly edge of your seat kind of stuff, you know. It's not particularly riveting, and maybe I was different 6 years ago, but me now, I have a lot of trouble focusing. I have a lot of trouble focusing, and this time around, I remember the first time I read it, I bought it, went to the Starbucks near the Waterstones I went to, and then I read it then and finished it, and that was that. It took me a lot longer. I won't say it took ages, because again, it's only 140 pages, but my mind wanders so easily these days. It was hard to focus because of how it's written, and because the actual contents, what the stuff the story's about, it didn't grip me. It's not a gripping story. That's not what it is. What it is a silly little story about a couple who rent a guest house, or I guess a converted guest house, which is basically, I think, from what I can gather, from what I could glean in between all the words, is it's situated in their landlady's back garden. And what happens is their neighbour gets a cat, and this cat comes to visit them. That's sort of it. This cat that comes to visit them a lot, and they sort of treat it like it's their own cat, even though it's not their cat. And he tells you frequently that it's not his cat. This cat is just a visitor, hence the guest cat. And for what it is, for what this story actually is, the writing style I feel is a bit much. Like, one of the notes I made while I was reading it was like mate, you're living a pretty boring life and this cute cat keeps coming to visit, no need to wax fucking poetic about the weird feature in your window, because there is a weird feature. This is how it starts. It starts off describing this weird feature in the window that it's sort of like an illusion. Like when someone's walking past, it looks like they're coming from the other direction, and whatever. And maybe wait, and maybe those lightning paintings are real fascinating, but the cat literally just ran up a tree. Chill. Do I really care about triangular surveying? Because outside of the cat takes up probably about 50% of what this book actually is. And I don't know if it's because naturally I'm a pretty direct person. I know I don't always come across, but I always try and say what I want to say in as few words as possible. But I don't know, because I am direct in that way, I don't know if that's why I have such a hard time with this sort of writing. I had similar problems with Butterfly Burning, which I read last year, I want to say. That's the same. This is like 151 pages, and it gave me, I had such a headache when I was finished with it, because Yvonne Vera's writing is poetic. It's beautiful. Like, it's really beautiful, but my brain has to work twice as hard to get through the sentences, and I don't necessarily find it an enjoyable reading experience. But that's not to say that I don't get anything from these kinds of books, because I definitely do. When I finished Butterfly Burning, it left me with an ache. It left me with a real ache in my chest because of what it was about and because of how it ended. Like, it left me feeling, and the same with this. While reading it, I was just sort of like rolling my eyes and be thinking like, okay, get on with it, get on with it. But after I was finished, like the moments after it, it did it did leave an impact. It left an impact. This idea that nothing in your life is really set in stone, no matter how secure or stable you think you are at that moment, you think your situation is, it can easily change without warning. And that's the kind of things that this left me thinking. I guess you could say it's a story about grief and new beginnings, about life and death, or maybe life after death, because death definitely pops up a couple of times in this book, either related to or completely unrelated to the cat. And I guess it's a bit of a running theme that I don't recall the first time I read it. But I guess because of the wordiness of it, maybe past me, I don't blame past me for not seeing it necessarily, but also past me hadn't experienced grief like the me of today has. So I don't know if that's had anything to do with it, because I bought and read this before my dad passed away. In between then and now, my dad has since gone, and I've been through, I don't want to say like I've been through loads, but I've been through more than the me up to that point had, you know what I mean? It sort of like invades your brain, and like, whether you think anything of the story while you're reading it, after it's done, it's sort of there in your head. Those thoughts are there in your head. Is it necessarily a good book? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I've read it twice now, but I don't know if I actually enjoyed it. It was an experience. It was an experience, right? And at only 140 pages. And in fact, the story itself is only 136 pages. It's an experience you might want to try for yourself if the opportunity comes up. Would I tell you to go look for that opportunity? No. But if it like lands in your lap, maybe give it a pop. Will I ever read this again? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe a few years down the line I'll pick it up. I'm not going to get rid of it. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. Like, maybe a few years down the line something will possess me to reread it. Maybe next time I'll enjoy it. Who knows? But for now, that's it. That's me done. That's The Guest Cat by Takashi Hiraide. Oh wait. Translated by Eric Sellen. A little book where not a lot happens. Really at all. At all. But yeah, I thought I'd sit down. I've got a few minutes, sit down and have a little chat about it. But yeah, so that's going to be it from me. Thanks everybody for watching. If you've read The Guest Cat, do let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'd be very interested to hear how your reading experience was. Especially if you've read other Takashi Hiraide, because I've never read anything else by Takashi Hiraide. That's literally it. And I don't know if that's made me interested in his poetry or not. I'm not a big poetry fan. Well, I don't want to say I'm not a big poetry fan. I just don't gravitate towards it. It's not something I look for. But you know what? If I ever come across some of his poetry because of that, I might pick them up. But yeah, no, if you have read, let me know. Do let me know in the comments below. Until then, everyone, take care, and I will hopefully see you all in another video. Bye!